guys are in for the absolute biggest treat right now. We have a rock star in the house. Everybody, you probably already know him, but if you haven't met him, this is Ian Blessing of All the Bitter. Ian, welcome to the Mocktail Summit.
Thank you. This is a
Thank you for
Thank you for putting
this.
on and organizing this. It's brilliant.
Oh my gosh, I'm so excited. I'm out of my mind. It's so much fun. So to be able to get on today with you, okay, can I just read your bio for the ladies and gentlemen in the audience? Would you like to hear the incredible? It's very okay. Here we go. Ready? Ian Blessing is a hospitality veteran with over 15 years of experience in the food and beverage industry, including sommelier. Am I saying it right?
Some
I never say it right.
very close. Yeah. Some
Say it again.
yeah.
Okay. Sommelier. I can't say it right. Okay, so or whatever. I liked wine. That was all I know. At the French Laundry, I have heard of that. After giving up alcohol with his wife and his business partner Carly, they co-founded All the Bitter, a line of non-alcoholic cocktail bitters handmade with organic and functional ingredients. Recognized as the No and Low Spirit Producer of the Year at the IWSC. Okay, this is a huge award. This is the International Wine and Spirits Competition. It's massive. You guys have won what, 25 plus awards. By the time this comes out, it's going to be like 50. Okay. So everybody's just going to have to keep up. Anyway, amazing non-alcoholic bitters. Welcome, Ian. I cannot wait for you to explain to us what the heck bitters are and how to use them.
Thank you. So we just jump into it.
Yes. And I'm sorry, I can never say it right. I'm sorry.
It's
Loser.
a billion different ways. Nobody ever pronounces it right. You don't need to say it the right way. It's the guy that sells wine.
The
Or
guy that knows the
the
wine. You're the guy that knows the wine.
person that sells wine. And honestly, we're Carly and I are not that fancy. Like, we worked at a really nice restaurant. We're not that fancy. I would eat Taco Bell in on the way, uh, and probably on the way back, depending on how we were. But we're very much in the same boat. I spent a lot
I love it.
of and tasting and selling wine, but I was just a guy that liked wine a little too much. I used to drink too much, and now I don't. Uh,
Yep.
there's In the same way that there's like plenty of terms for alcoholics, people in recovery, whatever. I used to drink too much, and now I don't. Uh,
Yep.
but call it whatever you want. So call it a summer,
I love it.
and some call it I like to drink wine. Uh,
Perfect. Thank you. Thank you for your graciousness to me.
so I want to talk a little bit about bitters. This is something so Carly and I started this business. We created a line of alcohol-free cocktail bitters when we quit drinking and realized that there was a selection of hundreds of brands of spirits on the market, but very few people making alcohol-free bitters, which is its own kind of issue and topic that we could get into, but we'll cover it really briefly. Alcoholic bitters can absolutely be used in non-alcoholic cocktails if you're making
Yep.
it yourself, or if you know who you're making the drink for and you know what their comfort level, their tolerance level is. Alcoholic bitters are 45% alcohol. They're just as high in alcohol as whiskey, gin, tequila, or anything else. You can absolutely get drunk on bitters. Adding a couple of dashes to your drink doesn't necessarily make it alcoholic. You're not going to get drunk on 3 dashes of bitters, but depending on who you are or why you're not drinking, whether it's for recovery reasons, for pregnancy, for health, for religious reasons, you may choose to not have any alcohol at all.
Mm-hmm.
So that's why we created these. Bitters are essentially the salt and pepper of the bar cart, and that's the best and the easiest way to explain how to use them. What bitters are essentially a complex extract. So think of it like a baking extract. Think of it like vanilla, except we use 20 ingredients and it's a much more complex flavor profile than just vanilla. But it's basically the same thing and they're kind of made the same way. You steep ingredients in a solvent for a while and it pulls out all of that flavor into a super concentrated flavoring extract, which you then use in small amounts to season drinks, a couple dashes at a time to flavor drinks. The easiest way to think about using them is just like salt and pepper. It's not as complicated as it sounds. It's easy, I think, to see bitters and go, I have no idea how to use that. I see the bartender putting a couple dashes in, and he's doing all these other fancy moves. And, I'm not qualified to use bitters. That is incorrect. If you have seasoned a dish with salt, you know how to use bitters. There's a really common misconception that I think is important to kind of dispel right away, which is that
Okay.
your drink is going to make your drink taste bitter.
Yeah.
Are bitter. If you taste this on its own, it's bitter. These all have bitter qualities to them. We use bitter herbs, bitter roots, all these different bitter ingredients, but you're only using a couple dashes. So a couple milliliters of liquid in a drink that's maybe 5, 6, 7, 8 ounces of liquid. You're not adding nearly enough to change the flavor profile so dramatically that your drink is bitter. What it
Right.
do is add just enough bitterness to balance the drink. We have 5 taste sensations: sweet, salty, sour, bitter, and umami, which is a little hard to describe. Umami is like mushroom, soy sauce, seaweed, roasted tomatoes, truffles. It's kind of a savory flavor.
Interesting.
Anytime in both food or drink, anytime that we can get more of those flavors into the dish, not just for the sake of doing it, but if it makes sense, you're going to end up with a more complex, more complete
Hmm.
experience and flavor profile. Bitters do the same thing to drinks. Say you're making a whiskey sour. The primary flavors are sweet and sour. Adding a few dashes of bitters just helps to balance that flavor profile. It adds just enough bitterness. It's not going to make that whiskey sour taste bitter at all, but it adds an element that's going to help create a more rounded, more interesting flavor profile. And it's going to help to balance and tame a little bit some of those sweet and sour elements. You're still
Yeah.
an ounce of lemon juice and an ounce of simple syrup. You're not going to make the drink not sour or not sweet. You're just balancing it. You're making it more complete, more round.
Yeah. That makes sense.
So when you think about it like that, bitters can be added to basically any cocktail. There's plenty of cocktails that call for it as an ingredient, as a necessary ingredient. An old fashioned or a Manhattan are the two best examples. But you can add bitters to just about any cocktail. Sours are a really good example. So that includes a margarita, that includes a gimlet, that
Yep.
includes any drink that's in that sour family. They're also incredibly easy to add to standard mixers. And honestly, how we use them more than anything else, because like a lot of people, we don't necessarily have the energy or the time to make a cocktail, but you want something more than just water.
Yep.
These are a really, really nice tool when you want to make something that feels fancy, it feels elevated. It's marking a moment. You've just gotten home from work.
Mhm.
You could crack a beer, you could pour a glass of wine, you could make a cocktail. But if you're not don't have the time to make a cocktail, you want something that feels special. You want to punctuate that moment of getting home from work, or it's happy hour, or whatever reason you want something special, right?
Yep.
So beer wine is a great option, but simply adding a few dashes of bitters to sparkling water is super, super easy. It drinks kind of like a more sophisticated LaCroix. So if you like
Yep.
seltzer, which we all do, all of us,
I do. Yep. I love them. Yep. I love them. Yep. Spindrift. Yep. I love them. All of
we
them.
all have a seltzer problem. Uh, it's basically a better flavored seltzer made with real ingredients. There's no artificial flavoring. It has a more interesting, more complex flavor profile, so it feels special. It feels like you're drinking a cocktail, and it's good for you. Bitters
Yeah.
have
Yeah.
benefits naturally, and our bitters, we've really focused on those benefits. We formulated our bitters both for flavor, but also very much for function. So we're using ingredients like dandelion root, burdock, milk thistle seed for your liver. Whether you are drinking or have quit drinking, chances are your liver needs some help. So we milk thistle seed
Yeah.
in these three. And then in our lavender bitters, we've used a bunch of functional ingredients that are good for calm and stress and anxiety. So things like passion flower, skullcap, ashwagandha, lemon balm, lavender itself, chamomile. So all of our bitters are made for both flavor and some kind of functional benefit, whether it's stress or gut health. So if you're going to drink a flavored seltzer anyway, you may as well just make
Right.
itself with real ingredients and get a functional benefit from it rather than just drinking.
Yep.
So most of what we go through bottles a week just by mixing it with soda water, and it
So, do you use the lavender? The lavender with just the water is
is
so delicious with sparkling water.
it's so good with add
Yep.
or lime if you want, but again, if not, it's great just by itself. As much or as little as you want, in a glass of soda water, I would say something like 4 or 5 dashes, but you go as much as you want. Carly and I tend to do about 10 or so because
Half the bottle.
we like
Okay, so when you say a dash, what does it if somebody has never used bitters before, what is a dash? And maybe you can show us as you make a drink, you can show us what a dash is. Because I know, like Ian, when I stopped drinking, I know dash. What does that mean? Like we're hyphenating a sentence. What are we doing?
nobody knows, nor should you know. Uh,
Okay.
there's a couple important things here. So think about a dash like a pinch of salt. And then okay, so let me back up real quick. We often not misuse, but kind of conflate the words drop and dash when it comes
Yep.
to bitters. And people will often say drop when they actually mean dash, which can get us into a little bit of trouble because you can actually get a single drop
Yep.
bottle with the dropper top. So
Yep.
let's start with this first. This is a full dash.
Yep.
That's a
The whole
squeeze
the whole dropper full, basically. The dropper full, as much as you can get in it, as much as the boil out, you get, right?
up. Yeah, you can look at the measurements. A dash is anywhere from zero point 0.7 milliliters to over a milliliter, depending on how full or empty a bottle is, depending on
Yep.
direction that you dispense it at, how hard you dispense it. There's all these factors, right? So this is about a dash. You don't need to get any more, specific than that. The whole thing, one bulb into it is a dash.
Is dash.
Drop
Perfect.
is not nearly enough liquid. That's like of what a dash actually.
Yep. And when I first started using bitters, because I hadn't used bitters before when I was just drinking my wine back in the day. So when I first, it was like a dash. I was literally doing like one little dropper full, two little droppers. So it's totally. I think that's very
It's
normal. Very normal.
very very common.
Very common.
Um, I don't want to say mistake because honestly, you use as much or as little as you want.
That's true. Yeah, that's true. But that little tiny bit, you don't really taste. You don't taste as much
Correct.
as you do
It's
with a dash.
season with your heart, flavor with your as much as it's to taste
Yeah.
much or as
Yeah.
you want, but know that a single drop is not enough. It when a
Yeah.
calls for a dash, what it means is that much is that whole dropper full of liquid. That's what a dash is. So out of this bottle, a dash is straight down. So each one of those is a single dash. You want to be pretty aggressive with it, straight up and down, rather than kind of tipping it over like that, because then what literally is
Okay.
is about a drop. That
Okay.
is doing a drop out of that little bottle. If that's as much as you want, then use that much. But know that when a recipe is calling for a dash, when you're looking at cocktail recipes and it says a dash, what they're telling you to do is that movement
Is a full.
rather than
Yeah.
drop.
Take out your aggression. Take out your aggression from the day on the dashes. And are most of your new bottles, are they all coming with this new method? I know like the older ones had the dropper full, the dropper.
All of
Is that right?
all bottles will continue to have these dropper tops.
Okay, perfect.
Work with a dash cap because they're too small, so it would come out too.
Okay.
It would not enough would come out. That's
Okay.
why this is staying that way. We changed this because it's quicker and easier. So
Yeah.
I have dashes like this in 2 seconds, as opposed to having to go in and out of the bottle over.
Yep. Okay. Perfect. Okay, that makes sense.
Quicker, it's easier, and as long as you're using it right, which is a hard dash down, it's much quicker, much easier. You're getting the same amount out as if you were to use a full dropper.
Okay, great. Thank you for explaining that. Thank you. Because some people might, if they order the sample set or the trial size, right, then they'll have the
Yeah.
droppers. Okay, perfect.
All of our recipes now, we used to write our recipes and we called it use 3 full droppers. We've now changed
Mhm.
them to just dash because obviously this is a dash cap. But just know that a dash out of this bottle is a full dropper, and a dash out of this is a good shakedown. So we're gonna make a really simple drink. We talked about bitters and soda. That is the easiest drink you could make. 5 dashes or as much as you want. Top it with soda water. Give it a little stir. Add some citrus if you want. That's great. That's bitters and soda. That's really easy. There's some other really, really easy applications that I would love to highlight and love to see people embrace more because again, they're so easy. And when I want something just more than bitters and soda, but I don't want to make a cocktail, I just grab a can of tonic or a can of ginger ale or ginger beer, and again, use our bitters to just season them, to just
Yep.
lightly, so that I'm not just drinking a can of tonic because that doesn't feel like anything. Tonic feels like an
Yeah.
ingredient, but tonic is great on its own. There's nothing wrong with just drinking a can of tonic. It's delicious. So
Yep.
tonic to a glass. I really like our orange bitters in tonic or lavender in tonic is both really nice, but any of them will work. In ginger ale or ginger beer, aromatic goes really well. This has a lot of ginger in it and a lot of spice that's really complementary to ginger beer. But
Nice.
they all work in ginger ale or ginger beer. You can add them to regular beer, again, just to add a bit of flavor to your otherwise, what might, let's say, like a Bush or like a Bud Zero, like an otherwise kind of bland beer, is a way of giving it some flavor and taking, a cheap macro beer that you can find in any grocery store and kind of zhuzhing it up and making it fun and fancy.
Yeah.
Wheat beers with our orange bitters work really well. Aromatic bitters work in most beers. IPAs are really nice with them. Wine is a huge
Yeah.
This is all over the internet, but we like to add either our aromatic or our New Orleans bitters to red wine. Again, as much as or as little as you want. I would start
So good. Yeah.
a couple of dashes, start with 1 or 2 dashes in a glass, but go up to like 6, 7, 8 dashes if you want. Because our bitters are glitters. Our
There's no glitter. There's no glitter in there.
our bitters are glycerin based, which is viscous. Our bitters have some body to them, as opposed to alcoholic bitters, which don't. They have some body to them. So if you go heavy in a glass of red wine, you can actually add a significant amount of body and texture to that wine. So the bitterness again helps to balance. It cuts the sweetness in some red wines. You add
Yep.
the complementary flavors, spice notes in here, cherry and hibiscus in this one, and then you're also adding body and texture to the wine at the same time, which is pretty cool. So a lot
Which is great, especially for the non-alcoholic wines. For anybody trying non-alcoholic wines, it's like change.
of
It can really elevate
things.
them. Yeah.
So let's make a really simple cocktail. If that works, we're
Okay.
gonna do one of my favorites. This is called lemon lime and bitters, and it's basically just a bitters and soda that's been elevated a little bit, and it could not be easier to make. We're gonna do half a lemon. You could measure this out, but the easiest way to do it is just half a lemon and half a lime. If you don't have one of these, a little citrus squeezer, I cannot recommend it enough.
I agree. I would agree. I did not have one of these, and this is wonderful. Yeah, this is great. Buy one of these online. Yeah.
It's going to save your hands in the long term. Half the time, if I don't have it, I almost don't want to make a cocktail because I don't want, like, my hand is perfectly effective, but
Like, I need the squeezer. I need the squeezer. Yes.
so,
So yeah.
and half a lime right in the glass. You could shake this with ice if you wanted to, but it's really not necessary. And then I am constantly advocating for just making your own simple syrup, and I know that Chelsea is doing a class on
Yes. Yes.
simple syrups are a great tool for your home bar. They're really easy. They could not be easier to make. They're called simple syrup. You can flavor them with anything. Rosemary from your garden is a great example. And it's again a super easy way both to enhance cocktails, but also just to flavor sparkling water. Flavored simple syrups, can't recommend it enough. I didn't have time. I ran out of time, so I went and I bought some simple syrup.
Perfect.
You literally just mix sugar and water together. That's simple syrup. We're gonna do half an ounce of simple syrup.
Okay.
Little jigger. I've measured out half an ounce right into the glass. This is a very easy drink to customize. You could use more lemon juice, more lime, more or less sugar if you want. This is a nice place to start, but use more or less or however much you want. And then we're going to do seven dashes of our aromatic bitters.
Okay.
You could use whichever flavor you want. This drink will absolutely work with different flavors of bitters, but the aromatic is what we're going to use. That's probably
Okay. Okay. All right. You've got your LaCroix. I've got my Soda
yeah,
Stream. Okay.
is the way to go. I pour it about halfway, and there's different ways to do this, but I pour the water first so that it mixes everything up,
Okay.
and then top it with ice. I'm making this drink myself, so I'm just using my hand. But if
Perfect. Yep.
you're for somebody else, you'd probably want to use a scoop of some kind, but we don't need to get that fancy.
No, not at all. Nope. Love it. Okay.
If you want, you could garnish this with a lemon wedge or a lime wedge, but again, really don't need to. But if you want to throw something in there, a lemon wedge or a lime wedge would be.
Okay. Big time cheers,
Mm.
Ian. Mm-hmm. Thank you for being here. Mm-hmm. Love it.
So, kind of a fancy lemon lime soda, but
Mm-hmm.
way less sweet, not nearly as sugary as a lemon lime soda, a fresh version of that, uh, with some complexity from the bitters, but
Yeah. Yeah.
very straightforward, just kind of an adult
Yeah.
version.
An adult seltzer.
Yeah, exactly.
Very nice. Very nice.
So really, really easy. And
Love it. I will tell everybody that you have available is our they can grab it today is your downloadable. It won't be this pretty little thing that I got in the mail with one of my packages way back when, but in a PDF version of The Joy of Bitters, this little booklet that you created. So this has some recipes right in here,
yeah,
which is perfect. So definitely make sure everybody grabs
yeah.
this.
Do we have time for one more real quick one?
Yeah, yeah. We're gonna make what, an old
Yeah,
fashioned?
do it real fast. So
Fast old fashioned.
we're gonna a mixing glass. You could use a shaker tin. You can use anything. You don't need
Okay.
one of these. They're
No, I appreciate you showing that because I didn't even know what a mixing glass was. I would have thought like, oh, a glass is a mixing
gonna
glass. So,
use that.
but that's an official like some what you would have at a
Yeah,
bar, a mixing glass. Yep.
glass. This works really well. You could use a cocktail shaker. You could use anything, but
Yep.
pretty. That's the only reason we use this. So very, very straightforward. We're gonna do 2 ounces, a little over 2 ounces of Kentucky 74. There's
That's delicious.
these out there. I love the Free Spirits whiskey. Liars is Highland malt. Their Scotch is amazing. Uh,
So good.
Kentucky 74 is what we're gonna use for this.
Okay.
We're gonna use maple syrup rather than
Okay.
sugar. So normally you'd make an old fashioned with a sugar cube, but because we're making a non-alcoholic old fashioned and we're not using real whiskey, it's important, I think, to give this drink every advantage it can get because it's a really straightforward drink. It's just non-alcoholic whiskey, some sweetener, and some bitters. So maybe
Yeah.
a really nice job of adding some texture and some additional flavor and again complexity to this drink. So just a bar spoon of
Perfect.
very small amount. That would be like a little bit less than a quarter of an ounce of maple syrup. And I'm
Okay.
going to do 4 dashes of our aromatic bitters.
Okay.
The bitters in this drink are really helping to balance the sweetness that we've added from the maple syrup. The maple syrup is adding texture to the whiskey and flavor, and then our bitters are helping to balance the sugar from the maple syrup. So
Nice.
it's all about balance. This drink, if it was just whiskey, would just be whiskey. If it was just whiskey and sugar, that would be out of balance. And whiskey and bitters would also be out of balance because that drink then would be fairly bitter. But these three ingredients combined make a very enjoyable, very well balanced.
Okay, so for somebody who's never made an old fashioned, let's say somebody's never made one, they're not going to shake it in a shaker cup. You're going to stir it, right?
Correct. So use a spoon and you're going to stir it for about 15 seconds or so to chill it down. The reason being, we don't want to dilute this too much, and you get less dilution when you stir a drink as opposed to shaking it violently dilutes it
Yeah.
faster. Drinks that have things like citrus in them, you want to shake because it helps to actually emulsify those ingredients, syrups, things like that. But a spirit forward drink like an old fashioned, you're just going to want to stir. So
Okay.
in a
Perfect.
rocks glass, I've got one large ice cube in there. It's a little melted at this point, but it's what we've got.
It'll work. It
You
works.
got. You're going to pour it in. And then this is really important, especially in this drink. We're going to garnish it with a piece of orange zest that I just picked from our tree outside.
Did you really?
Absolutely crucial. And yeah, you can skip this if you want. You don't have to garnish it, but especially in a drink like this, that's only a couple of ingredients. This is
Yeah.
an ingredient in the cocktail. This is not just a garnish. You slice a really nice thin strip, and then you've got all these oils in the citrus peel. So we're going to take it and we're going to kind of spritz it over top, and you can see the oils
Yep.
peel into the drink. So now we've added an orange flavor. We've added citrus oil to the drink, and it's absolutely a component of the drink and helps to really make it.
That looks so good. Oh goodness gracious, where'd my drink go?
It's
Okay, that looks so good. Seriously.
so good.
Thank you, Ian. Thank you for walking us through making just two simple drinks to use with your bitters or to use your bitters with, right?
There are so many more, and again, you can add them to anything, whatever drink you're making.
Yeah.
There's a flavor that's going to work in whatever that drink is. Again, the bitterness just adds enough bitterness to balance the drink, and then
Yep.
really choosing based on the flavor. So if you want citrus, orange. If you want a lot of spice, aromatic. This is tart cherry, anise, and hibiscus, so a lot of tart fruit flavors. And
So good.
want something floral. So whatever the drink is, choose your bitter based on that flavor profile. And either way, you're adding that balancing element of bitterness to it.
Just that liquid flavoring, you know? Yeah. Don't be scared of your bitters. And what is we're calling this you can put that bleepity bleep on everything.
Yeah,
Put the bitters on everything.
it's of the non-alcoholic beverage world. It goes in everything.
It absolutely does. Absolutely does. Okay, am I missing? I know there's like so many other things we want to probably talk about, but we could probably be on here for a couple hours. Ian, thank you for being here. Make sure that you're following All the Bitter on Instagram. And Ian, you have an amazing blog, tons of information. I mean, you're really such a just an advocate for this industry and all the information that you share. And I just appreciate what an encouragement you are to everybody who is in this space. So thank you for sharing your knowledge with us
Of
today.
course, we'll hopefully be adding more to it soon. We've been so overwhelmed just trying to keep up with production and the regular day-to-day business that
Great.
the education and the blog and recipe section has is a little outdated, but that's very high
Good.
list in 20.
But it's somebody's brand new and hasn't seen you before. There's lots of information on there, lots of good recipes and stuff. So okay, thank you, Ian. I love you and I appreciate say hi to Carly and the boys. I appreciate you guys so
I
much.
will. Thank you, Deb.